Hello, welcome to Mike's Florida Homestead. Today we're going to continue in our series Defending the Homestead. And today we're going to talk about bugging out or bugging in. And so we're going to look at my bug out bag here today and how that differs from my get home bag and what the differences are, what my approach is to each, and what situation would I need to bug in versus bugging out. Where we're going to bug out to, and what is the reason for bugging out. So what supplies you might need to go along with that process. So be thinking about, what you might have to do in a situation like that. So let's take a minute and just talk about bugging out. So if we had a grid situation where the grid goes down, something like that, society is on the verge of collapse or maybe a regional collapse like we've seen in Hurricane Katrina, what would be our plans to keep ourselves and our family safe? We talked in a previous video about the get home bag. How do we safely get home from where we're at to the safety of our home and our loved ones? And so we put together that get home bag for that. But today we're talking about bugging out or bugging in. So when would you want to do those? So if we see a situation where we no longer think it's safe to be in our home and we have to get out, what are some supplies we would need to help us along the way? Where would we want to go? For the most part, if you're in a survival type situation, your best, safest place is going to be your house. It's a place it has four walls, it has heat, electricity. Even if that fails and the electrical grid is down, what are some things that you can do to help provide for your family? We're going to talk about specifically bugging in another video, and the rain catchment systems, having food supply, different things like that. But we're going to look at the bag today, specifically what I carry in my bug out / bug in bag, because I think it can be a dual purpose. Both of these bags can be used depending on what your bug out situation is looking like. Now if I'm on my property and it has become overrun, maybe a gang is taken to the streets, and it looks like they're going to take my house, and I just have to retreat down to the lake, out into the woods. Something I can grab and go in a hurry without having to throw things together in an emergency situation. Now another bug out situation would be that I think that say you live in an urban situation and it's no longer going to be safe. We know in any time of collapse, the cities are the most hazardous places to be. And so if you can't buy or sell and things have gone haywire, people begin stealing, attacking each other, and become desperate. So you want to be out of that situation. So that might mean getting your bug out bag and your gear and putting them into your car and going to a bug out location. Now maybe you have a relative that's in the country, maybe you have friends that are in the country, maybe you need to get friends that live out in the country and have a plan where you could go. So we live down here in Florida. One of the advantages of that is it doesn't get super cold, so we don't have to worry about bundling up in the winter. We might have a frost 1 or 2 days out of the year. Heat's probably going to be the biggest factor. We live on a lake, so there's some things, water supply and different things that we use. So we probably, bugging out is not as important in that aspect. But if I thought that this area had been overrun from whatever, or there was, an invasion or something, and this area was no longer safe, then I would grab my bug out bag in addition to my get home bag that's already in the car, and probably take a few other things like some buckets of food, other weapons that I'm going to throw in if I'm going to leave long term and head out maybe to my daughter's in Kentucky, I do have a hybrid, so I would not need as much gas, but the gas that you would need, you would probably have to take with you, so keep that in mind. When you're bugging out, are there things that I'm going to have to take to keep my car going? Because if it's just electrical grid down situation, your car is going to work, but when you get to the gas station and there's no electricity, it's not going to pump gas. So these are things you have to think about in a situation like that, where you have to leave town and use your car as a means to get there. If you're going to need gas to get there, and then as you're even traveling in a situation like that, if they're, streets are down, they're blocked, or whatever, rioters out, and you have to flee your car, are there things then in your car that you can grab and go on foot if you need to help you survive to get to your destination? So let's take a little bit closer look now at the bag itself, what I have in there, why I have it in there, and give you some ideas you might want to put in your bag, whether you're bugging in or bugging out, because even in a bug-in situation, I know that in this emergent situation, and when it's hard to think where some of my supplies are that I might need in that type of situation, I know exactly where to go and what's there to prepare for that. So let's take a look at it a little bit closer here. Okay, as you can see here with the bug out bag and the get home bag side by side, there are some quite stark differences in that. On the get home bag, we went with a gray man type appearance, something that is not going to stand out. You're just trying to get home and to get back to your family. You're probably looking at the early hours of a situation, and so this is going to not stand out, and I don't probably need some of the gear in here that I need in here, and vice versa. So they are a little bit different because this is a little more durable. The tactical styling of this may stand out a bit, but at this point, if it's bad enough that I got to get out of my home, I don't mind advertising that I am armed and dangerous. So this allows just more things to be accessible to me, that I can attach the MOLLE attachments on the outside, a lot more different compartments, easier to attach things to. So if I got to bug out, then I'm going to go with something more like this. So let's set the get home bag aside and concentrate on just the bug out bag. Now let's take a look at the bag. You might grab some things as you're going out, a sling of shotgun shells if you're going to carry a shotgun with you, if you're bugging out to just the backyard, or something you can grab and throw in your vehicle, in addition to the whatever rifles or shotguns and things you may want to be throwing in there if you're going to go long-term somewhere. So the bag itself, what do I have on it? Let's flip it around for just a minute. So as you're carrying your bag, obviously this is now on your front, and so a few things that you can readily have. I have a knife that's easily pulled out. So on this knife, pulls out, and so it's got a nice blade to it. On the back, if you needed to break a window or something, you could with that. It's got a nice feel to it, so nice tang on it, and so a sturdy knife that, if you need to cut up some wood shavings for a fire or something, you got something, a blade that you can pound on, and still something that could be used for a number of different things. So it's right there available to you on the front. Then over here, I just have a Charade Tough multi-tool. So, one of these, always, you never know. There's just lots of different tools all in one. So good to have, because you're not going to be able to take the whole tool chip tool shed with you if you need to. And then of course the machete, if you needed to pull from behind, I can reach over my back and grab my machete. And this allows me to, you know, saw some small branches, chop weeds if I'm going through the woods. So always nice to have. It's fairly lightweight, so it's not adding a ton of weight and space in the back of this to have that. As we work our way around the bag, on the side here, I've got a pair of scissors. These have a sharpener on them so they can stay sharp. In the side pocket here, I have my mini water filtration set. So that's set up so that if I have to, you know, get some water from the lake, we live in Lake County, so you can usually find a source of water, but is it drinkable? You want something to filter that water, so it is. So we have that on the side. And I had this kind of multi carabiner on the side here, and attached to that I have an extra weapon, lightweight, my Inger compass. So this pops open and you can find your way if you have to bug out into the woods, or if you're in a situation that your phone and stuff is not working. And then on the other side, it's got a little compartment where I can have some water that I don't have to filter. It's just on me, so if I have to run and flee, when I am at a safe distance, I can stop and get a drink. You know, I have 22 LR extra ammo in there. And you notice on a lot of these, it's got a lot of clips across things because I just don't want this stuff bouncing as I'm going, making noise. So my little pill containers, the little rope saw on here, attached to this carabiner on this side. And then as we work our way to the front of the bag, as you can see, this is the Crazy Ants. So it's got this mole system on the front that you can attach a number of things to. And on my shotguns, I have this Velcro setup that you can, there's Velcro on the gun itself, so I can grab, if I empty one, I can just grab one and throw it on it. So because this has a Velcro front on it, I can attach, you know, extra shotgun ammo on there if I'm running with a shotgun. And then of course this, once again, is kind of holding all that in place, so once that opens up, it gives you a little more access. So let's go down this bag, this top compartment. In it I have some plasticware, some kind of heavy-duty survival spoons that I picked up at Sportsman's Outdoor World. Heavy-duty spoons, a couple of forks that you could wash and reutilize, some cortisone cream if you happen to get into something that you're allergic to, some weeds or something, some antibiotic ointment is always a plus. A ferrous rod, striker flint plate, so that you can, a secondary way to make fire if you need to. Some Benadryl for allergies. The compressed towels. So these are just little tablets, but as you take them out and get them wet, they become washcloths. So I've got a couple of them in the bag. I have a heavy-duty Duracell headlamp. So if you're going through the woods at night and you need your hands free, and maybe you got a machete in one, cutting weeds, you got this on there. So it's a pretty bright light with multiple settings on it, so you can adjust your brightness. You do have a red thing if you need to be seen, if you got injured and you're trying to attract attention of EMS or something, then you have that available, or green, and they can flash. So you got a number of things there with the, so that's a nice little headlamp. If we move to, let's take those shelves off for now. We move to our next compartment. I've got some hide gloves, so you know, if you're out in the woods, you're going to probably need gloves without getting them messed up. Some off because, you know, we live in Florida and there's a ton of mosquitoes. Some Apocalypse alcohol antiseptic. I have some ammo in here. So a lot of these sub bags that I have within the thing, I'll have them labeled on the end, so I don't have to fiddle and open each one and figure what's in here. You know, I got extra ammo for 2 of my weapons. I have some pens. I have a lighter, Bic lighter over here, a magic marker. If you gotta write on something and a pen doesn't work, well, duct tape. You know, always 1,000 reasons. So instead of having a big round roll, just wrap some around this extra tablet. That way I've got duct tape to repair something if I need to. And then this waterproof tablet that you can write on even if it's wet. So if you're trying to leave notes, directions on how to get back, if you had to just bug out of your house for a short time and plan on going back to the house, you know, and just writing out some notes, things that you might have witnessed during the calamity, and can help you in the future. Now, let's undo this. So once again, I like to bring these straps across things so that it makes it so it's not clunking all over the place, running into branches and making noise as you're going through the woods. So let's go to our next compartment then and take a look what's in here. Alright, so a couple things here. I've got Excedrin migraine and then aspirin if you any heart disease, you're having chest pain, 4 baby aspirin. We have the camp out cup with the folding thing so you can hold this over a fire without getting burnt, and then handles that, you know, you can grab a hold of. So that stainless steel, so you can cook on that, drink out of that, put soup in that, and then of course the spoons that go with that. This here, what this is a waterproof splint. So if you sprain your ankle, fracture a wrist, something like that, this is a moldable splint that you can put on there and wrap it up, and that will very much help. We see that every day at the hospital, EMS coming in. I've got another larger water filtration system, and this one is set up with a bag so you can store some of that water with that. It's got the e-straw attached to it, so another water filtration device, some extra Ziploc bags to put things in. I've thrown some beef sticks in here. They last a while and they hold up pretty good. Brings us to another reason why you need to go through these bags periodically. Full stuff like this is you know, it's got a pretty good shelf life, but it's not going to last forever. So you want to go through your bag and, you know, restock it from time to time. And I did some of that earlier as I went through. I have super glue in here. The super glue, if you have something that's torn you need to fix. But the primary reason I have super glue in here is for wound management. If you have a big cut and you don't have sutures to get that together, you can super glue it together. More MREs. Got some, you know. So, you know, a few things just to sustain you. I got some crunchy granola bars. There again, you want to check your expiration dates on those and change them out from time to time. Some hand sanitizer. We got some chapstick. Some extra batteries for the lights that we are carrying. Some tissues. And that brings us through that compartment. So let's open this up into our main compartment. So this is the biggest compartment. So this, I'm going to turn and kind of open this all up. So in here we have, you know, just a few dew wipes to clean up. I have 4 of these cold packs. You run through the woods and bang your head, and you got a knot in your head, or you, like I said before, you twist your ankle, you put a splint on it, you want to put some ice on there, wrap it up. So I've got several of those in that bag. I have some fishing line in case you want to do something along that line, or use it for setting up a perimeter with some sort of a noise maker on it. I've got cordage. I like these cordage because I've got 4 of these, and they're attached to these little devices here that allow you to just to pull and tighten real easy with a clip on the other side. So if you're setting up a hammock across some trees or something, you can pull this and quickly have that set up. So I got 4 of those, and then you know, some bank line cordage as well, a roll of that, and then to go with that, I have this nice this is a 7x9 tarp. Now this tarp is a very nice tarp. Comes in a little bag like this, and when you get in here, you know, it's quality material, but it's lightweight, so it's not weighing down your pack. So I wanted a tarp that was going to be able to, that I could throw up a line and create a temporary tent with that. So that's something I carry along. I have this radio flashlight. So this has, you know, if we're still getting a radio signal, but some of the electric is down, then we can utilize this to pull this in. Also, it has flashlight on it. The great thing about this is you can set it out for solar power, or you can hand crank this baby. So that is kind of, just crank it like that, charges the battery. So even if it's not a sunny day, you'll be able to fire that up and, you know, have a little communication device and also flashlight. Going into the 2 bags that I have inside, I have one entitled clothes and bags. So we'll zip that open and see what we got in there. Speaking of zips, zip ties. I always put these in my bags. There's 1,000 different uses for them. And so I always have some zip ties in there, pair of nice gloves that camouflage. I have some of the 55-gallon big heavy-duty construction bags that you can use for waterproof jacket if you needed it, or to put down on the ground if the ground is wet. A rag, and then some extra clothing in here. So I got a camo t-shirt, we got some scrub type pants, that way they can just roll up, some extra socks, some underwear in there, so you have a change of clothes if you're wet, and then you can get in here and set up a tarp, get out of the rain, and get dry again. So that's sub bag number 1 in there. The second one in here is this is my medical bag. So on the outside I've got scissors for cutting gauze and such like that, so some surgical scissors. I have a tourniquet here on the outside that I carried, so I got that always right there. Inside my medical bag, some PPE, so I got a bag if you're come upon a victim and they're all blood, and you want to throw that on, protect yourself, or it can be even used for rain protectant. I got some medical tape in here, got a little zip bag of some aloe, band-aids, some larger gauze in there, and I really like these band-aids here. You know, they're not sticky, but they stretch and kind of stick to each other, so you can wrap a wound real easy. Put on a pressure bandage if you have your you had to put on, you know, splint. You can wrap the splint and keep it in place. So I have 3 of those in there. I have the rhino valve chest seal, so if you had a puncture wound to the chest, you could seal that up to prevent further collapse of the lung. Actually, I've got 4 of those in there. Then I have an Israeli bandage, so pressure bandage, basically large wound, get it sealed up, stop the bleeding. N95 mask, a first aid kit. So this one's like 85 pieces, and then I've thrown a few more extra things in there. More band-aids again. In here, some exam gloves, pack of quick clot to help the bleeding stop. Some more water treatment things instead of filters, water treatment tablets. Lidocaine patch. End up with a backache or something else, you can slap that on there. And then just more dressings. I have some sterile gloves. I have some another lighter in here with some small scalpels and some bigger scalpels in here. A survival wrap. If someone's in shock, you can wrap them in that, or to stay warm. Another better pair of scissors thrown in there. More antibiotic ointment. A eye optic dressing. You get something in the eye, this will help patch that up. So, and as you can see, I got number 11 and number 10 blade scalpels. You gotta clean up a wound and get it fixed up, and you can get all this stuff on Amazon. So that's kind of my bug out bag. So if I have something critical happens in the house and I think, oh, somebody gets shot, I can go and grab this because it's a nice trauma kit, you know, with Israeli bandage, tourniquet, chest seals, bandages, wraps. So I know where I can grab that, even if it's not a bug out situation, but just an emergency in the household. I have these supplies and I'm prepared to help my family until EMS can get there. Some of the other things you want to think about when you're putting a bug out bag together, it's just, what are you going to have on yourself? You know, a knife. I usually carry a knife in the back of the belt, and probably I'll have my concealed weapon on. I might be carrying a shotgun. The other thing I have on me is just this nice little bag over here. So, you know, it's carry, you know, flashlights, a few things in there. I showed on one of our videos this bag, but also in here, you know, I got my 38 special. So it's doesn't look tactical, but a way of carrying an extra weapon with extra ammo on your side. It's very convenient, very comfortable to wear. And then something we want to look at one other thing here as we are going out with our bug out bag. So, like my side bag with the extra weapon in it, If you're in a situation where you think you're going to be overrun and you're going to have to give up the things that you have, you want to be able to give up some but not everything. And so that may require you carrying like some deep concealment weapon on an ankle or in a pocket, or you are in a fleeing situation in the woods, stashing that bug out bag and fleeing away from it on foot if you think that whoever is after you is going to be able to overtake you, so that not everything is there. So I have a weapon on the bag itself, then that way one was safe. But if they stole that bag, then some other things that are on me, maybe I can get away with. So can't plan for every situation, but he who doesn't plan at all is probably going to be in worse shape than he who does. So I hope you enjoyed today's video from the homestead here in Florida, and have a great day.